Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Little people, Big World star Tori Roloff issued a blunt response to the Snow White live-action remake. On the April 10 episode of their Raising Heights podcast, the TLC personality and his wife, Tori Roloff, discussed the controversial film, which hit theaters on March 21. Zach, who has achondroplasia dwarfism, previously spoke out against the film swapping little people actors for CGI dwarves. Now that the film is out, the 34-year-old revisited the topic and doubled down on his criticisms. "It's live action, and then there's randomly CGI," he said. "The whole thing's ridiculous. Dumb, dumb, dumb. I think representation in big-time movies is very important, and this was an opportunity to have representation," he continued. "Just because the storyline isn't perfect or it's not 100% correct woke, whatever you want to talk about, progressive representation is still super important." In August, Roloff called out the film for nixing the casting of little people as Snow White's 7 dwarves. "So they aren't just taking away the dwarves and making Snow White. They are shying the dwarves," he wrote next to a photo of star Rachel Zegler with the new dwarves on his Instagram stories. "Either focus on Snow White or own the dwarf representation." Martin Kleba, an actor with dwarfism, voices Grumpy, while George Appleby, another actor with dwarfism, portrays Quig, one of the men in Jonathan's band of bandits. Before the switch to CGI, the Snow White remake announced it was replacing the 7 dwarves with 7 magical creatures, a move that actor Peter Dinklage, who also has achondroplasia, publicly criticized. "Literally no offense to anything, but I was sort of taken aback," Dinklage said on Mark Moran's WTF podcast in January 2022. "They were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me." The Game of Thrones actor continued, "You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that F-bomb backward story about 7 dwarfs living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough." Ultimately, Disney kept the dwarves but obviously went with CGI. In the ever-evolving conversation around inclusivity and authentic representation in entertainment, few voices carry the depth of lived experience quite like that of Tori Roloff. A longtime star of the TLC reality series Little People, Big World, Zach has grown up in front of television audiences, offering an intimate view into the daily lives, struggles, and triumphs of individuals with dwarfism. Recently, he stepped beyond the boundaries of family-focused reality TV to enter a broader cultural conversation, one centered around the controversy surrounding Disney's live-action remake of Snow White. The new adaptation, set for release in 2025, is being helmed by Disney as part of its continued initiative to reimagine its animated classics for modern audiences. However, while the film has generated buzz for updating the titular character and story elements to reflect 21st century values, it has also faced considerable backlash for its treatment of one key feature from the original 1937 classic, The 7 Dwarfs. Instead of casting actors with dwarfism, Disney reportedly chose to use CGI to create fantastical creatures, effectively replacing the dwarfs with magical beings devoid of their original form and significance. This decision immediately struck a nerve with disability rights advocates and members of the dwarfism community, and Tori Roloff's blunt and passionate response has since become one of the most prominent criticisms of this creative direction. Tori's entry into the discussion was not merely reactive, it was deeply personal. As someone with achondroplasia, a form of dwarfism, and as a father of 3 children, some of whom also have dwarfism, Zach has long been an advocate for accurate and empowering representation. He took to social media and later elaborated on his podcast to criticize Disney's decision to use CGI instead of hiring actors with dwarfism. His reaction was not just about artistic choices, it was about missed opportunities, harmful messaging, and the ongoing marginalization of a community that has historically struggled to be seen in mainstream media. In one of his first public statements on the matter, Zach highlighted the irony of Disney's attempts at progressive storytelling. While the company prided itself on reimagining Snow White to better reflect diversity and inclusion, it did so at the expense of another marginalized group. According to Zach, the new adaptation may be diverse in some ways but regressive in others. Teak wasn't isolated. It echoed growing frustration among performers with dwarfism, who saw a beloved cultural narrative being rewritten in a way that erased rather than included them. What stood out in Zach's response was the clarity and conviction behind his words. He didn't mince words about the impact this decision could have not just on professional actors with dwarfism, but on children and viewers looking to see themselves in stories. For Zach, representation isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. He emphasized that every time a person with dwarfism is left out of a story that includes characters like the Seven Dwarfs, the message being sent is that their presence is not important or desired. Zach also pointed to the contradictory nature of Hollywood's selective approach to inclusion. He questioned why other marginalized groups were rightfully gaining more visibility, while the dwarfism community continued to face erasure. It's not that the original Snow White was perfect, it certainly had its flaws and dated stereotypes. But, as Zach argued, those flaws could be corrected through modern reinterpretation. Updating the dwarfs with more nuanced, well-rounded personalities, played by actors with dwarfism, could have been a meaningful way to balance progress with authenticity. Instead, Disney's choice to sidestep the issue entirely came across, to many like Zach, as an avoidance strategy wrapped in the language of wokeness. Rather than engaging in the hard but necessary work of inclusion, the studio appeared to opt for a sanitized solution, one that avoided potential controversy but created an entirely new one in its place. On his podcast, Raising Heights, Zach delved deeper into the issue. He spoke passionately about how representation on screen had shaped his own identity and how he hopes for better for his children. Seeing people who look like you in positions of strength, humor, wisdom, and even vulnerability can profoundly influence self-esteem and social perception. For the dwarfism community, roles in film and television have often been limited to comic relief or mythical caricatures, but Zach believes there's an opportunity to do more and to do better. He acknowledged the critiques made previously by actor Peter Dinklage, who also took issue with the portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs, calling it outdated and offensive. But while Dinklage's comments sparked Disney's decision to rethink the characters, Zach believes the studio's response was a case of overcorrection. Rather than engage with the dwarfism community to create more authentic portrayals, Disney appeared to have erased them from the story entirely. Zach's comments reflect a broader tension in the entertainment industry: how to balance historical legacy with modern sensibilities. The Seven Dwarfs have long been a fixture of Snow White, each with distinct personalities and names that became part of pop culture. While there is valid concern about reinforcing stereotypes, there is also a genuine desire to preserve these characters in ways that are respectful and inclusive. By choosing not to cast actors with dwarfism, Disney missed a chance to redefine those roles for a new generation, an opportunity that Zach and others feel should not have been wasted. Public response to Zach's critique was overwhelmingly supportive within the dwarfism and disability communities. Many felt that his words gave voice to frustrations that had long gone unheard. The idea that a global studio like Disney would bypass a chance to employ and empower disabled actors struck many as antithetical to the values of inclusion it professes to champion. Social media lit up with messages from fans and advocacy groups, praising Zach's honesty and bravery in calling out what many saw as performative acts. Brought renewed focus to the employment challenges faced by actors with dwarfism. Roles for little people in Hollywood are few and far between, often limited to fantasy genres or heavily stereotyped characters. For many, Snow White represented a rare mainstream opportunity for visibility. By substituting those roles with CGI, the industry effectively removed another rare opening for disabled actors to work, be seen, and be paid for their talent. The controversy also reignited discussions about creative leadership in Hollywood. Advocates questioned why people with lived experience were not included in the decision-making process from the beginning. If actors with dwarfism had been consulted, Perhaps a compromise could have been reached, a version of the Seven Dwarfs that avoided harmful tropes while still celebrating diversity in form and stature. Zach's comments in this sense were not just a rebuke of Disney's choice, but a call to the entire industry to do better. For fans of Little People, Big World, Zach's public advocacy is not surprising. Over the years, he has consistently used his platform to raise awareness about issues affecting the dwarfism community. Whether it's accessibility, parenting, or body image, Zach has approached each topic with authenticity and heart. His willingness to confront a media giant like Disney only underscores his commitment to these values. In the months following his statement, Zach continued to engage in the conversation, participating in interviews and public discussions that kept the spotlight on the issue. He called for more collaboration between studios and disability advocacy groups and encouraged creators to see representation not as a box to check, but as an integral part of storytelling. He also invited Disney and other production companies to reflect on the real-world consequences of their casting decisions, not just for actors, but for young viewers looking for role models. The unfolding story of Disney's Snow White remake is still evolving. Whether the studio will respond to the criticism or revise its approach remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that Tori Roloff's voice has amplified a critical conversation, one that intersects with issues of disability rights, artistic integrity, and the power of media to shape perceptions. For now, Zach continues to focus on his family and his advocacy work. As a public figure with a growing platform, he recognizes the responsibility that comes with visibility. Through candid commentary and heartfelt reflection, he has turned what could have been a passing controversy into a teachable moment, one that challenges Hollywood to confront its blind spots and rise to the occasion. In the end, Tori Roloff's message is about more than just a movie. It's about the right to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. And in a world that often overlooks those who are different, his words serve as a powerful reminder that true progress means inclusion, not erasure.